Welcome to the A to Z Golfing Podcast presented by AM Golf Trips. You can follow the entire 2023 season at amgolftrips.com and swagseries.com. Andy Cezanne joining us today, Rob Maguire, all the way from Woodbury, Tinville, Minnesota. He's been on here. I believe this is his fourth time. It's awesome to have you again, Rob.
Does that put me in the lead for most guest visits?
It does. It definitely does. We like to get your face on here so people can really connect with the numerous emails that go out from you, and then connect you to those. So,
my job is to keep people informed and up to date.
100%.
We have to get like one of those 5 times, like how SNL Saturday Night Live has like the 5-time club. Rob, you're one away from getting into the room.
Do I get like a pin or like a shirt or just nothing?
You're closing in on being on this show as many times as we have listeners. Like it's a ratio 4 to 17. So it's good.
That's impressive. I like that.
It is. I do like that. We've been obviously, people have been following along. National championship is coming up at Big Cedar Lodge. New rewards program has come out. We wanted to bring Rob on. We wanted to go over kind of everything that has evolved sort of in what we call our sort of off season from the end of the regular season to the national championship before we start to put stuff out there. So start with this. 2023 was awesome. We went to 4 amazing locations. Let's just separate what we did as far as the trip stuff before we get into anything else. I'm kind of curious, we spend a lot of time talking about places we're going to go. Your evaluation of the places that we went in 2023.
Oh, I had a ton of fun. I don't know about you guys in terms of where we went and what we set out to do. I think we accomplished on a lot of levels. I mean, started the year at January PGA National, got to play the Bear Trap. Did win that bet from you, Z. I didn't put a ball in the water in the Bear Trap, so very excited about that.
It's pretty impressive.
I'm still clinging to it, many months later. So started the season out in Florida, did the Florida Swing, and had some fun out at PGA National. Moved over to the desert, went out to Weekapaw, fantastic little resort that we stumbled upon out there that we had a ton of fun at. 36 holes, great weather, good group of people, ton of fun out there. Moved over to probably our biggest event of the year at Bandon Dunes in June. Had a large group of people out there, largest non-USGA amateur event in terms of participation. Caught an amazing week of weather. I think everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and I think we truly lived up to the bucket list moniker, if you will, of having a good time out in Bandon Dunes. And then our big event out at Sand Valley continued the hang, if you will. Had a ton of fun out in Sand Valley. Got to experience a couple things that maybe other groups haven't really done before. Night golf at Sand Valley, as an example. Large group out at Bandon Dunes. We had, I think, near 100 players out at Weekapaw to play at the casino course and have a lot of fun out there, and had a great group out at PGA National. So I think when we look back at 23, literally coast to coast and a ton of fun along the way. And that's how I kind of describe it and summarize it.
Yeah, when we spend so much time evaluating these places and going through them. And then when you finally start to sit down and listen, I've known you for a long time, so I know you're probably already into like 2028. So, which is awesome. And, for anybody who is listening to this, it's really cool when you start to see where we want to go and how we want to do it. And then also being able to implement doing it the right way, like how we've always done with the Vegas trip and now going back there. What are some of the things that you look for in resorts, in golf courses, in accommodations, as this has evolved, that really predicate to like the experience for the players?
I think it starts and ends right there, the experience for the player, right? I think, look, we're blessed in this country to have so many great golf courses that we can go to. And I'm convinced that this team can put together an event at any one of them from that side. But I think we really start with the player experience. And we're trying to give our customers and people who want to play some unique places to play, places that maybe they don't normally get a chance to attend to, but something else along the lines, right? So Vegas, great example. Tried to build in the Super Bowl feel, right? We've done the Final Four out at Weekapaw. We've kind of added a little bit of an element that's kind of fun and different to some of these events that I think that just elevates it a little bit more. So we're always thinking about the player experience. So whenever I start to look and pour through all of the media and all the different avenues of where we're going to send an event or where we're going to look into an event, I always try to think about what's the player experience, right? The journey to Bandon Dunes. It's not an easy place to get to, but when you get there, you're rewarded with a fantastic experience. So I try to think a lot about what the player's looking for and kind of what they're thinking about and feeling about. So it's not just about the venue, it's about all the other pieces that come into play from that side. So I'm constantly thinking about the player experience and how do we make that better.
I do have a lot of emails coming in a lot of times to see if we're ever going to go to this one course. It's not really well known. It's called Augusta National. Everyone's been wondering when we're going to get to that course.
Yeah, I get that question a lot too. And I think there's a little bit of humor in that question, right? Like, because we are going to so many great places like Pebble Beach and Bandon Dunes and Pinehurst and all these iconic places across the country. Look, Augusta National is a whole different level, right? I don't know about you, but running an event there is damn near impossible from that perspective. And so I don't mean to burst people's bubbles, but I actually think that's a compliment, right? Because we're going to so many great places. That's probably the pinnacle of the game to go to. So I chuckle a little bit, and I know that that's where they want to go, but I think that's just a compliment more than anything else.
Yeah.
You talk about rewarding the players and the participants that come to all these events. Obviously, we can go through them one at a time as far as where we're going next year. The trips are going to be 2 places that we've already been a little bit. Vegas is going to be a little bit differently organized, but we've had over 80 people every single time we've gone out to Vegas. It always ends up being a fantastic time. I'm curious because I want to know more about it myself personally, but I want everyone else to know the 3 invitationals that are now going to be within sort of the trips outlook. And then they're this more like executive style that's predicated to, like a longer hangout, like to your point about what you said, a better hang, right? You've got a place in Arizona that'll be our first time. You've got a place in Nashville that's going to be our first time. And then you got a place in the Sand Hills in Nebraska. It's going to be our first time. I love the idea. I love the exclusive nature of it and how it's going to tie in. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about maybe some of the similarities and some of the differences that we're going to see with those events in 2024.
Yeah, look, I mean, for those who don't know, we're about to celebrate our 4th anniversary here upcoming in November. And kind of the evolution of where we're headed with our events is really just a byproduct of listening to the customers and the people that we have, whether they're rewards members or they're just people who've been on multiple trips or even singular trips. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to curate different experiences to kind of meet some of those questions and that feedback that we're receiving. We want to host large scale events. A place like Vegas, a place like Streamsong can do that quite well, right? Opportunity to go there. There's a lot to experience in a short amount of time, but we can kind of create an itinerary that gives that back to the players. The other piece of information that we're receiving from our customers is some of these smaller, maybe more intimate experiences that give the players a little bit more chance to interact with one another, maybe a little bit more of that camaraderie, if you will, some of that brotherhood. And so we're starting to design some of these events that are, purposely smaller in nature to give opportunities. It's not just about the venue that you're going to, it's about the people you're with, right? From that side. And so we're starting to see a lot of individuals who are saying, I want to bring a foursome, or I want to bring, 6 to 8 of my buddies, and I want to go to these places, and I want to not worry about any details, and I want to experience some great golf, but I also want to do some other things like some group dinners that are kind of fun, or maybe some whiskey tastings, or some things along those lines that are just a little bit different from that perspective. And so that's what the Invitational is meant to cure, if you will, is to listen to the feedback that we're getting and try to deliver some of that to them. And we know that we can plan an event from start to finish. So I think we're having a lot of fun with starting to find some of these. And so in 24, you're going to see a little bit more of that when we go to Arizona, when you go to Nashville, and when we head over to Nebraska. There's going to be a little bit different, smaller in nature, but really a lot of fun, right, from that perspective. So I think it's the evolution of the customer and kind of what the customer is looking for.
We've heard it a lot this year, Andy and I being on the road together. There's a lot of times where people are like, how hard is it to organize a dinner, or how hard is it to like get a group together from like the swag series and stuff like that, you know, because you know, we watched as, you know, maybe I'm a little bit high, maybe 30 to 40% of all the participants were traveling, some form of travel,
Yeah.
whether it was a drive, you know, within outside of a certain radius,
Yeah.
you know, and those things are so hard to organize, right? And I think that, and we notice it more when it's a larger group, right? Whether it's an allocation of space, there's not enough space. I mean, Vegas is a little bit different when we've had the Super Bowl because we've had an entire banquet hall.
Right.
But you know, Bandon was a little bit different. These executive style events, I love that aspect of it. I love the ability to play a little golf, sit on a patio. You know, maybe it's the elephant toss game that you play for a little bit,
Right.
or, you know,
Right.
throwing golf balls around, or, you know, gambling a little bit, you know, whatever the case may be, putting around the putting green, having a good time. It's really cool to see, because then you'll start to see groups, right? You start to see the same people again. You start to see, and even if it is within certain members of the swag community, or collectors, or just median people, you start to get them together, and then they start to become friends. You know, one of the things that running the swag events that's so great is that when we leave, we feel like we've taken on such a personal role in it that, you know, it extends to Andy and his photos. It extends to whatever they want to yell at me about for talking the whole time during the par 3 contest, whatever the case may be. So I love that. And I mean, then you look at like the list, and, you know, we know how much fun Vegas is. Everyone that's ever been, everyone that is going to sign up for this event, they know what Vegas and Streamsong are going to be. They're going to be amazing, and be well put together. You're going to have the shuttles, you're going to have the room accommodations and all that stuff. But for me, I always look at the schedule and I look at one, and Dismal River for me. I've been on the Nebraska hunt for
Years.
a while.
Years.
It has to be. It feels like forever.
Yeah.
But and then I love that it's like, you know, it's the last one of the 3, of course. So I have to like lick my chops for the first 2. So
anticipation. Yes.
Let's go through a little bit more about the Nebraska, like the scene in Nebraska right now, because I get super excited about it. But there's so much going on there. Where did this fall? Like, I had never even heard of this place.
Yeah. So if you're plugged into the scene of understanding where the golf courses are being built and kind of where the hot spots are, Nebraska is kind of top of the list, if not top of the list, in terms of it's a kind of a blank canvas, right? There's an opportunity to build some of this. And a la Sand Valley, or similar to Bandon Dunes, it's about the journey to get to these places. And then when you're there, you're treated to world-class accommodations. You're treated to amazing golf courses. You're in the middle of nowhere, you know, and there's other extracurricular activities that you can be doing, shooting ranges, fishing, hunting, all the different types of things along those lines. So it really becomes a little bit of a trip, right? It becomes a vacation. It becomes kind of a journey to the destination just as much as it is. So when I started looking around in Nebraska, there's a ton of places. We landed on Dismal River mainly because they provide a couple of things that we think are pretty interesting and kind of cool. One of those things would be, you know, the arrival into Omaha and the journey from Omaha to the actual facility. We're going to have options where you can actually take a chartered bus with a group, or even a chartered flight from that side. So elevating that experience a little bit differently. How cool is it going to be when you and a couple buddies are on a plane and you're landing on the fairway, you're landing on the runway that's next to the first fairway of the golf course you're going to play that afternoon. So it's just different experiences, right? Like literally landing and taking your clubs off and jumping in the golf cart and going. It's in the middle of nowhere. You're going to have an opportunity after it's dark and you're not playing golf anymore. You're going to be able to go into the lodge and have a good meal with good people, right? And those types of things. So curated experiences, different than anything that's ever been done. And Dismal River is going to deliver on that side. Super small group of people. We're looking at bringing 16 people to that. I know it's a super small number in comparison to some of the events that we've been, but it's going to be a world-class experience from that side. So those are the reasons that we're starting to look at that. And, Dismal River just was an easy choice at this point in the game.
So obviously you we're finding these executive style places. They're going to be, you've got the one, like you just said, it's in the middle of nowhere. You're either flying, parachuting, or wagon.
Hang gliders.
Yeah. Hang glider. Right. And then the other two, Troon, which is not far from downtown Scottsdale. You got Hermitage, not far from downtown Nashville. It brings in a lot of like really cool things. And I think that's the idea of group trips, right?
Yeah.
8 people wanted to go, they could do a night in Nashville. If they wanted to do a night in Scottsdale. So you give so many different options to so many different people. And I love that sort of transition into the difference between 2023 and 2024. And then it brings me to the change in the rewards for 2024, right? So as the trips are evolving, we don't want to stay in our own world on what the rewards are made of. And so the rewards have changed. It's more predicated on, once again, giving more back to the participants. Andy and Rob, this is your baby. So I'm going to give you guys some free time to go ahead and talk about the evolution of the rewards program.
Well, don't say like that, because you've been involved too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but we don't need to hear me talk for the whole time.
Well, we're keeping a lot of the points that we had, and we just added on to it. So you're still earning points for each event you're in, and then you save money, 5% on any trip that we do, 10% in the pro shop. We still have early registration for swag series events and trips events. The best part about that is now you get the first invitation to the invitationals. Like if you're a member, only 16 spots for Dismal River, we might not even make it to the general public for that. And then we added on a bunch of fun things in there too. We gave a gift. We have a gift that's coming out to them for the new members, $200 values coming out to them, curated by yours truly, Anthony Zampano. And then the returning members get $100, back to them. And then now the best part is the raffle prize part that I think that we're doing every month. Rob, if you want to talk more about that part, I think that's the biggest. I would join this thing just for that alone.
Yeah, look, it's a good rundown of some of the benefits that are inclusive and kind of where we're taking it. I think as we're stepping into 2024 and we started to understand who our customers are and what they're looking for, we have a really strong, loyal group of community that we wanted to make the rewards program easier to understand, easier to earn points, but give them more benefits. Plain and simple. That's it. This is a community that's growing for us, and it's an exciting time for us. So this is an opportunity for us to kind of give back to that group of individuals. I think where it's going to be really interesting is, because we are going to keep it a little bit limited in scope and size, is getting in and getting all those benefits. One of those new benefits that we're rolling out is the raffles. Each month, we're going to roll out a pretty exclusive raffle to just those members. The first raffle off the bat is going to be an entry into an invitational. And so it's the idea that we're really, truly giving something back to this group that has been so loyal and supportive to us over the years. And we're going to continue that each and every month, right, from that perspective. So the idea is that we want to give back. We want to, it's a loyalty-based program. And so we want to reward that loyalty that's being given to us. And we've got a great, fantastic community of individuals. It's growing. So not only is the rewards designed to give back from that side, it's also to recognize what we're trying to do going forward, right? And build upon that. And so I think the rewards program is going to be a fun thing for a lot of people to join and check out and understand. That first access into a lot of events it's kind of flying under the radar right now. But as we continue to add some of these invitational events, and if maybe it speaks to you that you want to go to Nebraska and you want to experience something like that, the rewards membership is going to be the first place that you're going to get access to it. So there's a lot of benefits to it. It's really interesting, but it's really just a byproduct of listening to our customers and creating something that we think is kind of fun and cool at the same time.
Yeah, the early access is something that, obviously we continue it on from last year, and it keeps building. And even along those lines, it's like the other things that go under the radar is, you don't, with how the deposit works for the $500 deposit to lock in your spot, it's a great opportunity to just lock it in, worry about it later. And everybody already knows we're handling all the accommodations, right? You know the dates, you can get your flight, you can lock down your position with a small deposit. And I think that's awesome. And I also think it'll be really good going forward for somebody that is a member that's looking to bring multiple people to an event, right? You're going to be able to utilize the opportunity to have 4 people, 6 people in your group. Listen, we've been asked by numerous people around us for probably years now about, can you help me out? I'm looking for a foursome to try to get on this really exclusive golf course. And we all try to help because that's what we do. But these are the opportunities. These are the opportunities where you don't have to worry about that. You know, I've been talking to Eric Klosser a lot about it because they go on like a 12-person trip every single year. And I keep telling them, like, just pick one. Like, instead of going, like, you know, I mean, I know I'm wearing it right now. Wait, it's on the other side. Sorry.
There you
backwards.
Found it.
But I mean, I just got their email and I was, I mean, the amount of stuff you still have to do, like, to organize it, because you're not getting, you know, unless you're signing up the first day that email comes out, you're not getting the tee times that you want, or you're not getting all that stuff. And I think these become, you know, where those groups are going to start coming, executive style, planned out, their buddies trips and stuff like that. And I think that's really cool that's also going to be a huge stepping stone for rewards. And then subsequently all the raffles that obviously I know about, you two know about, that are going to be coming up, that the people are, you know, and they're not stingy, like Rob said, giving away an invitational.
Well, we'll look at it this way. And you joke around the fact that I've started to think about schedule out to 2028. Here's the fact of the matter. We left Sand Valley this year in August. And I was talking to our account rep over there and having a wrap up session for this year. And I said, hey, curious, I had a question from one of my customers. He's looking to come back with 8 to 12 people. What do you have available in 2024? We're looking in September. What's available? And she said to me, straight face, no lie, she's like, Rob, we have nothing. There's not a consecutive day that we can give you golf and accommodations in 2024. And we're about to open up 2025. And I think one of the advantages that we're really bringing to the table is, yes, you joke around and I am thinking about so many years in advance, but we're thinking about those because when the opportunity comes for us to get the time, secure the time at the venue and at the resort, we're first on the list, right? And so we're getting some of this stuff before anybody else does, plain and simple. And so then we can bring that back to the players and say, look, 2025, you know, I joke, we haven't even turned the calendar on 23, but 2025, we pretty much know where we're going. And if you're of interest in any of these places, check us out, because it's your only chance to get there. And then to your point, we're taking care of all the other details. So I think there's just a lot of benefit that comes into understanding kind of what we do and how we do it. And I think the people who have been with us for the last 4 years understand it. And I think as more people start to hear about it, they're getting more excited about it because they want to do these experiences. They want to have these, whether it's a small invitational style or it's a large scale event or it's a one-day series event, right? From that side, I think there's more people are just learning about it. And it's fun for me because it's kind of going in the direction that we thought we would go and delivering great experiences to a lot of golfers.
And not to mention, you also get a gift package with it, and then also there's usually a little prize money in it too. You know, so I mean, it's all included with the price on it.
Yeah, you got to have a little skin in the game, right? Something to play for.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you opened up the door.
Uh-oh.
So with you know, I do joke around that you're all the way into 2028. What are you looking forward to in 2025?
25. Okay. He's only 1 year. I gotta speak to.
I'm only going 1 year.
Pull out that spreadsheet for the 1 year only.
Hold on.
You'll be on, you know, 3 more times to try to catch up to everybody else. So
to 17.
Good stuff. So what we're scoping out for 25 is 2 to 3 events, a West Coast event, an East Coast event, and then kind of a third that we're kind of not really quite sure. Maybe Northeast. We're kind of exploring a couple different options. Look, our customers were super loud and clear. We had a great time there a few years back, and it's time to go back. You know, I think it's safe to say in 2025 we'll be returning to Pebble Beach. It's just a fantastic place. It's a special place. It's iconic. It keeps getting better and better, and so we'll return to Pebble Beach in 2025. And then our second event, East Coast based, we're down to a couple of options. I can't quite say which one we're going to yet. I can say we're looking at a couple properties in Georgia. We're looking at a couple properties in Florida, and they're kind of at this point in the process of getting us a couple of pieces of information that will help us make that. But nonetheless, it'll be a big time resort that I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in exploring from that side. And then that third event, like I said, depending on where we go with the second one, that third one will unlock. But the big one for 2025 will be Pebble Beach, returning there, and I think we're going to have a ton of fun with that as we go. Is that a big enough hint?
I actually didn't think that you were going to name any places, or give states. I thought maybe you were just going to kind of talk out loud. Okay, so since you did that, now I got to ask you this question.
Okay, all right, here we go.
A place that we haven't been.
Yes.
That you have already started talking to about an event that you're most excited about. That
we're gonna go, or like it's
that
still kind of
that we're gonna go. We don't know what year. Obviously, it's not this year. It's not next year. Well, I don't know.
Well, you never know. I get crazy ideas.
But what's? I mean, you've talked to so many places. I mean, listen, for everybody out there, what is this? Your 14th year in the golf business?
14. Can you believe that?
14th year in the golf business. You've talked to so many places, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of like the excitement of the question of what is a place out there that has caught your attention just from talking to them. Now you can review them online, you can do all that stuff, but where's the one place that we haven't been that you are intrigued the most about?
It's got to be the Cabot properties, the Cabot suite of properties. There's some unique places that are being built here in the States as well as kind of outside the States. I'm really intrigued by them. We've been having a lot of ongoing conversations. They're still a little bit in the building phase in some of these facilities. And so it's kind of waiting and letting some of these properties kind of not only finish, but mature a little bit from that side. But look for some Cabot properties coming in the future, because I think those are going to be some really exciting. And again, it's back to this. It's the journey to these places. It's not only the destination, it's how you're getting there, right? From that side. So Cabot is near and dear to my heart. I think it's going to be some spectacular stuff over the next few years. You're going to see us have some fun at some of the Cabot properties.
Well, I mean,
pretty average,
there are a
right?
lot. There are a lot of them. I mean, we share enough back and forth on Instagram about the one Lucia and Citrus Farms, and we know about the one up north, and they all look amazing. So
they're going to be phenomenal places. And look, and if you're in tune with that right now, if you follow the rankings or you follow some of these best places to go, they're not new names, right? They're probably been out there a little bit, but St. Lucia, it's not even built yet. Like, it's not finished yet from that side.
Mm-hmm.
They're still selling a lot of that stuff. Citrus Farms is going through that renovation. They're darn near close from that side. So we're going to need a little bit of time for some of these places to mature and kind of let the grass grow in a little bit. But those are some pretty cool places I think that our customers are going to be really excited about.
Z, is there any place that you're looking to possibly go in the next couple of years that we haven't gone yet, or even to return to?
I mean, I said it at the beginning of this. I'm really excited about finally playing golf in Nebraska. The whole Sand Hills area has me very intrigued. And like I said, there's so much more out there. I don't know when the first time I sent the text message or the Instagram post about St. Lucia, but I don't know what it is about that place, but I don't know if it was just because I found the first video of it. I think it was the first post on their Instagram. They had 17 followers, and somehow I stumbled on this thing. But it literally, I don't know. I have to play it.
Yeah.
I have to. It looks like, to me, it looks like Cyprus, right? It looks like that type of terrain, where par 3 greens are like rocks that are just formed out of the ocean, and fairways are just along the coastline. And it's like something that you want to walk. For me, Pebble was fantastic. The walk, from the back of 5 green to, what is that, 9 down the side of 9, or no, all the way down the side of 10.
10, yeah.
Like you remember that. Like you remember walking
Yeah.
off the back of the green and then walking over to the left to the 6 tee box and playing the iconic 7th hole and then hitting out to the rock on 8 and then, you remember all that. And I feel like St. Lucia is going to be one of those places where like the 11th hole might be the best hole. Like, I don't know this, but I'm just saying, but like, you're going to remember back, like talking to somebody that, hey, the 4th hole was just as good, right? Or whoever, like it's just one of those, right? It doesn't look like it has a benign hole anywhere out there that you're not going to remember. And I think that has me very intrigued about that area.
It caught my attention when the designers, Core and Crenshaw, of that property stopped and said, this might be the most beautiful piece of property we've ever designed a golf course on. I'm paraphrasing that. That's not the exact quote, but to the scope that they're saying that, and they've designed some really spectacular places across the country, tells you St. Lucia is going to be really, really interesting and really cool place.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Andy, how about yourself?
Mine would be the Broadmoor location. I got to visit very, very briefly last year. I just had to pick something up from them. And so you kind of go through the whole buildings and all the hotel area, walk straight through, and then it's just a beautiful visual of evergreens and mountains with the whole course. So I mean that's the course that I would like to get to is the Broadmoor.
Tony, he didn't give you the real reason he wants to go to Colorado. For those who played with Andy, Andy's not what we would call a long hitter. So he likes those elevated golf courses to hit the ball and get that to 260, 270. So,
well, Andy's closer to the sun. Andy's closer.
Yeah.
Hey, did we ever talk to Andrew Schmidt about how he got really burnt in Colorado? Because that was the true thing. It definitely happened.
Got it.
And I do have
Caucasians getting sunburned. It's happened for many with no sunscreen. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, for sure. So he's closer to the sun, so he gets a little bit more vitamin D.
Ball goes.
He gets to that 275 mark.
I hit a 310 drive in Colorado one time. Best day of my life. It was also the highest elevated tee box in the state. So I'm just saying, there's potential here.
It's not about the layout or the journey or the destination. It's so that he can hit a tee ball over 270.
Well, you have the title for the episode now. I hit it 310 from a very elevated. I mean, holy cow, Andy!
He's the best.
What? Can't believe it, Rob. Awesome. Thank you for joining us. I know we have another important date coming up with the schedule release for Swag Series. Can you give that to us?
Yeah. So. Swag Series 2024, locked and loaded, coming here real soon. I'm hearing right around the national championship, so stay tuned.
Perfect. Love it. Andy, last words.
I don't have anything today.
Fantastic. That's the way we like it. Rob, thank you for joining us. Everyone out there, thank you for the listen.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.